What's going on, Michigan DECA? My name is Connor Rezit, your Vice President of Business Partnerships, and I'm alongside my co-host Carter Hostetler, last year's State Secretary. We've got a good one for you all today. We're going to be discussing event preparation and how we go about choosing our events. So, Carter, you want to give a little introduction?
Yeah, so I'm Carter Hostetler, graduated last year as the state secretary for Michigan DECA, as you said. Currently attending the University of Michigan Ross School of Business, studying BBA, considering a double major in econ, with an emphasis in finance as well. So.
Awesome. So, Carter, to kind of get things kicked off here, throughout your time in DECA, what was the main way you went about choosing your events?
Yeah, so honestly, at the start when I joined DECA, I was pretty excited about I'm really into numbers, like
Hmm.
numbers, big numbers guy, like diving into the analytics of things. So I
For
thought
sure.
finance was right for me. So I was put into principles of finance, ended up loving the event. Kind of found something missing, at least in my opinion. I really like sort of solving really complex challenges, really
Hmm.
diving in deep to issues. And so I feel like role plays give you a great understanding of like surface level, like technical
For
knowledge. So
sure.
when you get a role play, you can um, dive in a little bit to the nuances of it.
Mhm.
But I found that with either written or professional selling events, I found that I was able to really dive deep into sort of the complexities of the challenges that those were presenting. So I started doing financial consulting, the financial consulting event. It's one of
Mhm.
the professional selling events. Ended up loving it. And so stuck with that for the past 3 years, and then competed it in my senior year as well. So, yep.
Yeah, so throughout your time in your all of your events,
Right.
really, were there any specific methods that you went to kind of research and choose your events?
Yeah, so kind of like I was saying, like I wanted to make the shift between um more sort of think on your feet type of role play scenarios and
Yeah,
then more into maybe complex like pitch decks and things like
for
that.
sure.
So I looked at the website, also took the test. You can take a test
Hmm.
on DECA's website.
Yeah.
It's like what event is right for you. I think that's a really good kind of marker to give yourself like a baseline on where you can move from. So if you're really into people skills, if you really like connecting with, clients, then maybe like marketing or like product management is a great idea for you. Or maybe you're more technically focused, so like accounting applications or like
Hmm.
business finance is more your realm. So I think that finding like what the test will say is really good for you
For
because you
sure.
might you might think I really like solving problems with like data analysis and
Yeah.
like financial modeling,
Hmm.
but I really like the client aspect too. So like something that's like more wealth and asset management focused is something that's more right for me. So that's why I went like financial consulting versus like business finance. So I think at least for those, that's like the online resources I would
Yeah.
say. Word of mouth of like more senior people in my chapter also helps.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
um great example is like one of the vice president on the board for my chapter
Hmm.
competed in FCE. So I had like kind of that already like segmented into what I was interested in. So I could talk to him about that. So let's say finding people in your chapter that have competed in events
For
that
sure.
you are interested in,
Yeah.
that's really helpful too. So I don't know if that's the same for you. I'm sure with Ann Arbor Skyline, it's been a similar story there,
Yeah,
but
no, so I agree with you. Using chapter resources
mm,
is very crucial, especially people that have competed in those events that you're interested before. It's
mm,
really great to kind of get an in-depth look at
yeah,
what the scenarios and the events and the testing too is really like.
true.
But another way I love to go about preparing for my events is going on the DECA resources such as DECA Plus.
Yeah.
You can find tons of information on DECA Plus, which, by the way, everyone has access to DECA Plus as long as you register at least 11 members in your chapter. So that's just a great resource for everybody to utilize.
Yep.
And one of my favorite things in DECA Plus is there's actually an events quiz
Yeah,
that you can take to answer a couple questions and also kind of help you narrow down your interests and your likes and help you really hone in on an event. So I've
for sure.
utilized that a lot. And then also, I'm not sure if you can touch on this a little bit, but I would look at the performance indicators on the DECA website for the event that
Okay.
I'm going to and kind of read through them to just see if any interest me and see if there's any ones that I really kind of want to pursue or have any good ideas about.
That's good. And I would say to that point too, like um I would say exploring like case studies that are outside of what I might think are like good for my event. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I did stay in the same sector for my like all 4 years of my event,
Yeah.
but I would say that like at least for professional selling events, they change each year.
Hmm.
So the types of KPIs that they're focused on are different
Yeah.
throughout the years. So it gives a lot of variety within the same method of performance of competition. So that's really interesting. But yeah, if you're like really, like dead set on finance or something, and then you do like a marketing case study and like you're
Hmm.
really good at the marketing case study,
Yeah,
then maybe making a pivot to that.
for
So
sure.
it's definitely like a balance between what you really enjoy to do and then also like what you're good at, like
Yep.
what you can and like finding a way to synergize both of
Yes.
those into like an event that you're going to be both like passionate about when talking to a
Yep.
judge so that you can get, those more like 21st century skills versus having the technical ability to talk about a marketing role play or
For
like
sure.
a hospitality role play.
Yeah.
So
And there's also obviously tons of different events in DECA, which
yeah,
can seem a little bit intimidating
yeah,
at first, for sure, from my personal standpoint. My
yeah.
freshman year was super intimidating, kind of finding all the categories and events and stuff. That's also a blessing in disguise. Like
Hmm.
there's just so many different topics and different areas of study that you can really find something that you're interested in. It
Yeah.
just can sometimes take a little bit more digging and research into your event, which is where these resources such as DECA.org and DECA Plus will come into handy.
Right.
But I know you mentioned that you competed in role play events all 4 years. How did you go about preparing for the role plays?
Yeah. So I would say in DECA, there's two types of events, obviously. There's the role play events, which are, you walk into the room, you
Yep.
get the case study. And then the second type is the written type of
Hmm.
events. So you're preparing something before. I would say professional selling, at least financial consulting wise, is sort of a mix between the two. So
Hmm.
there's a pre-planned portion,
Yep.
like a pitch deck or slides, whatever. And then there's also the interview portion
Hmm.
of the event. And so I'd say for me at least, my senior year was about building a portfolio allocation
Hmm.
for a high net worth client. So um, when looking at that, what I did was do a lot of research on the market.
Yep.
So get a pulse on where the market is moving. So maybe if you're not doing finance, see like if you're in marketing, for example, like marketing trends that are really popular right now or something like that. And so really getting a pulse on the overall like broader market gives you a great idea of moving into the role play to
For
sort of
sure.
implement some of those things.
Yeah.
And so I would say, at least for me, I tried to focus. I mean, I definitely had like the technical skill that I was trying to implement and also like the vocab, the buzzwords, things like that. But I think what's really important is being able to identify
Hmm.
a problem within the case study that's relevant right
For
now,
sure.
and then what sort of solutions firms are using
Yeah.
to come across with those. And so I think that's super helpful is just knowing the market really well. And I think that no matter what comes in front of you, like if you've never seen those KPIs before,
Hmm.
you're still going to be able to excel within the role play
For
because you know
sure.
what's happening in
Yep.
the more macro sense. And so that's what I did. I'm not sure maybe if you did the same thing or you focused maybe more on the KPI aspect, like drilling vocab.
Yeah, no. So, I was in the consulting events, but I
Okay.
think it's also super, and I did a lot of research myself
Yeah.
on not maybe necessarily real world issues, but
Hmm.
different like aspects and fields relating to that topic
Okay.
to kind of just get more of like a broader knowledge about it. And it's also really useful to judges. It'll like impress your judges a
True.
lot and kind of show them that you know what you're talking about,
True.
which is equally as important as your actual delivery of your presentation.
Right.
And also, I know for your events, you also had to take a comprehensive exam.
Right.
So,
Right.
what were some of the ways that you went about preparing for that?
Yeah, so honestly, to be completely honest, probably the first 2 years, I really didn't like focus too much on the exam. I
Hmm.
really kind of relied on like my experience of the market to help
For sure.
dictate how I could do in the
Hmm.
cluster exam. Say the last 2 years, I really, you got to understand that like I would say the role play is sort of like a checkbox that a lot of great competitors
Yeah,
can fulfill.
for sure.
But at the end of the day, like what gets you maybe on the stage versus like winning glass or
Yeah.
like on stage at ICDC versus like medaling or
Hmm.
finalist is your ability to do the exam really
Totally.
well.
Yeah.
So I would say for me at least, um, going on DECA Plus, they have a lot of practice exams from all three levels. So if you're looking for district exams, if you're looking for state or ICDC level exams,
Mhm.
you're going to get all those with DECA Plus. It's going to be really helpful.
Yep.
And also the makeup of those exams is different. So you might be asked more financial modeling
For
questions
sure.
in ICDC versus a district exam, which might be
Yeah,
more like emotional intelligence or
for
something
sure.
like that. So the makeup of those exams is different. So
Mhm.
understanding that and being able to target your study
Yep.
to those more weighted areas is very important. Say also to after taking an exam, obviously self-scoring it.
For sure.
And then maybe if I see like I did really bad in like market analysis,
Yep.
then I'm gonna go read a couple articles. I'm gonna go study the technicals for that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go, make sure that I'm really locked in on those. And
Mhm.
so even if it's not like if I'm getting an exam and it's not a question that I've ever really seen before, maybe I can, formulate a way to get to the right answer. So I think a lot of the times I can speak probably more to the ICDC level is
Mhm.
like those exams are going to be a lot more nuanced and technical. And so sometimes you're going to see things on there that you might have never seen
Yeah,
before. And
for sure.
so at least in that sense, just having a way to get to the right answer, even though if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I thought that was a really good part you touched on about focusing on the parts that you need a little bit of help on
yeah,
because I mean, like you said, taking the exam is a huge, huge part of your overall score.
it
And it
is. Yeah.
really is, honestly, the part that differentiates, say, like a finalist from a champion.
Yeah.
And focusing on the parts that you really need help for can kind of be that little part that pushes you over the edge.
100%.
But I think we got a good some good conversations today
100%. Yeah.
about kind of developing your events and
Yeah.
choosing one and also preparing for one. So Carter, to sign off, what is one piece of advice that you have for Michigan DECA members as we kind of enter our competition season?
Yeah, I would say sort of what we were talking about earlier is just like finding that synergy between what you really love, what you really enjoy, what you're passionate about, and then also like what you're good at too,
Yep.
right? So, um, first, I would say find something that you're really passionate about. That comes across to a judge's eyes a lot more than something that you're maybe like really technically just, adept in. And so finding something that you're really passionate about that you can talk to someone that's also in the industry for, that's going to be really helpful set as a baseline. And then from there, finding specific things that you're really good at. So if you're really good at solving problems with customers, with clients, then maybe hotel and lodging is a great event for you, or something like that. Or you really are great with accounting, then of course accounting applications or business finances for you. So find the event that you really love, that you're passionate about, and then just really dive into it. Get more passionate about it. Learn all that you can about it.
Yep.
Get really interested in it. Yeah,
Yeah. And just to kind of recap things, DECA has so many resources for you, and just not even DECA too. Talk to your classmates, your
100%.
teachers, kind of just learn as much as you can about the possibilities that you can, possible events you can compete in DECA because there's really something for everybody. And if
Yeah,
you just
true.
use resources, talk to people, you'll kind of find your niche.
You
You'll find
will.
what you really like, and you'll be able to carry that into competition strong and really prove to judges that you're passionate and you know what you're doing.
Yep, for sure.
All right, well, Carter, thank you
Awesome,
so much
dude.
for talking
Yeah,
with me
for
today.
sure,
Hope you
dude.
have a great rest of your
I
night
appreciate
and
it.
good luck, everybody, as we approach competition season. We'll see you all next time. Thank you guys for tuning in.